Hello everybody. Today I'm going to be speaking to you about body language. When we talk about communication, how can we not talk about how our body responds and reacts to what we are feeling, to what we want to convey, and to how we communicate with each other. Body language has a number of components. The first thing I'm going to talk to you about is the use of your eyes. Eyes are a very important thing. When you're talking to your audience, you've got to look into everybody's eyes. Make sure that you keep everybody, your entire audience, in your vision. Now you will say, that's very difficult. Suppose I have a very large audience, then what do? You've got to kind of look on the right, look on the left, look to 2 or 3 points in the center, not go back and forth in a routine, but try and look at everybody. What is very important is make sure that the 2 extremes are taken care of. Sometimes we ignore a few people sitting right on the sides and they feel left out. They feel that you're not speaking to them. And if they feel that you're not speaking to them, they won't listen to you. So your eyes are very important. You've got to keep looking. That is why we say, don't use a paper. If you have a paper, your eyes are glued to that. But it is important that you speak to your audience with your eyes. As we all know, eyes express just about everything. When you see a person, the moment you see their eyes, you can make out that person is happy, sad, excited, withdrawn, not interested. Eyes really speak a story. So you've got to use your eyes, express yourself through your eyes and allow people to see your eyes. That's what is important. You can use your entire body to communicate. Use your hands very freely. Because if you use your hands freely, you can get your message across more powerfully. You can state a point more powerfully. Use it. Don't ever put your hands in your pockets. That's absolutely a no-no. Don't even put your hands at the back or in the front. Leave them open. Because if you leave them open, your voice will also become open. Your communication will become open. And that is what you want to do. Have an open communication. But one thing you've got to remember, never point a finger. You know, pointing a finger is bad manners, don't you? So that's what you've got to do. When you've got to point out, point like this, but never like this. That's something that you've always got to be careful about. Also remember, you should not use your hands too often, but use it to emphasize what you are saying. Don't let people get distracted with your hands. If you're wearing bangles or if you're wearing too many rings, that might also distract people. So when you're making a presentation, be careful. Have them in control. Don't let your audience get distracted by what you're wearing. One thing I would like to share with you. Whenever possible, never use a podium. A podium hides your body language. A podium is good when you want to make a statement, you read out a letter, but if you want to really motivate somebody, if you really want to communicate your thoughts, podium is a deterrent. Of course, nowadays, you have those see-through podiums. Even those see-through podiums are no good. I would suggest come out of the podium if possible, if you really are wanting to make a passionate speech. Because your body can be then seen and your body will also speak your language. So stay out of the podium in view, because then your entire being will speak. Your legs. What do you do with your legs? That's another very important thing. Be in a very comfortable position. Don't put your legs too apart. Don't keep it too stiff. That will make you uncomfortable. However you are comfortable, take your stance that way. Don't lean too much towards one side. Be balanced. Be normal. Some of us have a habit of walking and speaking, or sometimes We even sway. Swaying, in my opinion, is very, very dangerous. Remember, when we were children, we used to be swayed to sleep. So if you sway too much, you are at the risk of putting people to sleep. Walk, but don't make it like walking here, walking there. Again, that's going to be distracting. Walk a little just to emphasize your point. Look this way, look that way, change your stance, but do it very naturally, just as you were talking to 2 or 3 people. That is a trick. Remember, even if the audience is 1,000, 5,000, 10,000 people, always keep it in your mind, I have a small audience. 3 or 4 or 5 or maybe 6, that is what you would be talking to. You don't look into anybody's eyes actually. What you do is look there, look here, look there, so that you don't get distracted by somebody. Our body is very, very strange. If we see a face we don't like, sometimes that kind of stops us from really expressing. You know, there are some people who kind of put you off. Do you have such people whose face you see and suddenly you feel, oh no, I've forgotten everything. It happens very often with me, and I'm sure it happens with each one of you. So don't look at people's faces, and especially if you have in an audience a person you are not very fond of, try and stay away from that person. Even if there is somebody who's very senior to you, you respect that person a lot, even then don't look at them, because you might get a little overwhelmed by their presence. So you've got to decide whom you're going to concentrate on and whom you're going to avoid, and that can happen if you look at your audience before you start speaking. Then you've used your hands, you've used your legs, you've used your eyes. So then what is the next thing that you would need to do? How would you use the tone of your voice? Sometimes a very strong point can be made very softly, and sometimes a soft point can be said in a loud voice. It has an impact. Try and modulate your voice. You don't want to put people to sleep, so you can't be on a monotone or on one scale. You've got to vary it, get that excitement, get that variance, get that, I don't know how to say it, but you can get that kind of difference in your tones as you speak. Be natural. If you're more excited, it's all right to speak a little fast. If you want thinking also, sometimes use a delayed response tone too. It's just like you're speaking naturally. And if you do that, and if you make it natural, that's what's going to get people's attention, and that's what's going to catch people's attention. So when we are communicating, what we are looking at is catching people's attention and keeping people's attention. Let me share the story with you. We were in China. In China, people do not understand English. Of course, now they've started understanding English, but most of them speak Chinese. We wanted a glass of water. Could not even explain to anybody. Of course, we used everything. And then one of us just said, in our local language, pani chahiye. And we said, pani chahiye. The person understood immediately. And how did he understand? Not because he understood the language, but he understood our body language. And of course, the Lions International Convention is the best place where we can actually see our body language in action. You do not understand people's languages, you do not understand what they are speaking, but their enthusiasm, their passion, their tone of voice, their smile actually tells you that they all believe in the power of we serve, in the power of our label pin. My dear friends, communication is about using your body. Communication is about expressing yourself. Words, once again, cannot express as much as your facial expressions and your bodily postures can do. Stand strong, stand straight. Do not lean over. Do not slouch. Do not slump. Whatever you want to convey, tell that to your body. If that body can convey that to your audience, that will be something that they're going to carry back. So, use your body freely, and there's nothing wrong in using your hands, legs, and everything that you've got. So, my dear friends, I would only say in conclusion, communication is not so much about words. Communication is not about writing out a speech and reading it. Communication is about feeling your speech, being like in person, talking freely, using your body. You convey much more with your words than you convey with your entire being.